You know, whenever the topic of AI comes up, our minds tend to jump straight to the really big, kind of scary, world-changing scenarios. But what if the real story, the one happening right now, is about AI just becoming a simple, super powerful new tool in your toolbox? Okay, let's get into it.
But first, we really have to start right here, with this anxiety. This quote from a Reddit user, wow, it just perfectly captures that deep down fear a lot of us are feeling. It's so raw and direct, and it asks the question that's kind of lingering in the back of everyone's mind. Is AI coming for my job?
And this feeling, it's so widespread, we can pretty much give it a name, the AI panic. And look, it's totally understandable. You see all the headlines about AI replacing workers, and for a lot of people, that threat feels incredibly real.
But what if there's another side to this coin? What if, while all the giant corporate AI systems are being built, a completely different kind of AI is popping up? One that's less of a competitor and more of a helpful assistant, especially for those of us who, aren't data scientists.
And that brings us to this idea of a new kind of tool. We're seeing this really interesting shift where complex AI is being packaged into simple apps that aren't designed to replace you, but to give you superpowers you didn't have before. And this is a whole category of tools, not just a one-off thing.
So let's look at a perfect example here, Pomelli AI. It's an experimental tool that came out of Google Labs, and what it does is actually pretty straightforward. You just give it your website's address, and it automatically starts creating social media content that looks and sounds just like your brand. So you have to ask, who is something like this really for? Well, it's not for the huge corporations with massive marketing departments. It's built for small business owners, for e-commerce brands, for solopreneurs who are wearing all the hats and don't have design skills. It's for agencies juggling tons of clients, or startups trying to get off the ground. This is all about making professional-level marketing easy to get, especially if you're new to this whole world.
So how in the world does it do that? Well, the core idea is something Google is calling your business DNA. Think about it like this. Instead of you having to manually build a brand style guide, the AI just figures it out for you by looking at what you've already created.
And the process, it is about as simple as it gets. We're talking 3 easy steps. 1, you give it your website URL. 2, the AI scans everything and creates that business DNA profile. And 3, it uses that DNA to start making new stuff. There's no complicated setup. If you're just starting out, all you really need is a website.
Okay, so what is actually in this so-called business DNA? Well, it's pretty much everything that makes your brand look and feel like, well, your brand. It grabs your logos and fonts, it figures out your exact color palette, and it even gets the style of your images. And maybe most importantly, it reads your website's text to learn your brand voice. Are you funny? Are you formal? Are you super professional? It gets all of that.
All right, so let's get practical. How does this kind of abstract idea of DNA actually become a real campaign that you can post online? This is where the magic really happens for anyone trying to sell a product or market their service.
It all kicks off with a simple prompt from you. Seriously, you just tell the tool what you want to talk about. So in this example, you might type a social media carousel covering the 3 best AI tools for marketing. It's really as easy as just typing out a sentence.
Now here's the part that's really cool. Pomelli doesn't just spit out a bunch of random posts. It actually thinks like a marketer and comes up with a campaign concept first, something like end the marketing overwhelm. So it's thinking strategically, trying to frame your content with a story that's going to connect with your audience.
And maybe the best part? The speed. Once you give the okay on that campaign idea, it can whip up about 10 different post variations in roughly 1 minute. Just think about that. For a small business owner or an agency with a bunch of clients, that is a huge time saver. You go from a blank page to a first draft almost instantly.
Okay, but let's be real here. No tool is perfect, right? Especially one that's still experimental. So what are actual users saying now that they've gotten their hands on it? Let's get into the nitty-gritty pros and cons.
So on the plus side, that speed to first draft is the absolute killer feature. And the automatic brand consistency, a huge win. There's basically no learning curve. But on the other side, you do still have to manually upload everything. It doesn't do video, at least not yet. And you definitely have less fine-tuned creative control than a tool like Canva. And a really big one, the quality of what it spits out totally depends on how good your website is to begin with.
And that last point is important. Here's some really honest feedback from one reviewer. Some folks feel that, look, if you already have design skills, you can still get a better, more polished result using a dedicated tool like Canva.
So the key takeaway here is that Pomelli is an incredible tool for speed and consistency, but it's not necessarily a replacement for a skilled designer with a specific creative vision.
So let's just zoom all the way out and tie this back to that AI panic we started with. A tool like Pomelli and all the others like it that are starting to pop up, it kind of reframes the whole conversation. AI isn't just some big corporate weapon used to cut costs. It's becoming an accessible ally. It's empowering small teams, it's making everyone more efficient, and it's shifting AI into the role of a personal creative assistant for you and me.
So this brings us to a whole new question, doesn't it? Instead of worrying about what jobs AI is going to take, maybe the better question to ask ourselves is this. If AI can handle all the boring first drafts and give you back hours of your day, what new ideas, what new businesses, and what amazing creative projects will you finally have the freedom to build next?